To kick it off, the first question I have is how would you describe legal ops and where does it sit within your legal team? A lot of the folks that are listening to this presentation or on this webinar might not have a dedicated legal ops hire just yet. So it'd be great to just hear how it sits within your team and how it maybe changed from, a smaller company up into being, part of a large organization. And Deanna, feel free to get us started.
Sure. And actually, that's a perfect question, I think, for me, having been at WeWork from, somewhat early days to now. Well, first, I guess I would say, just to describe what legal ops is, because it may actually differ depending on the company and depending what the needs are of the company, as you alluded to in the question about the size of the company. I would say that it's in large part about helping to manage the department, as well as the business processes of the legal group. So, that might be something like contract management or, matter intake, something like that. But also just, especially, I would say, as the team gets bigger, operating the department as a whole really does get more complicated. As WeWork has evolved over the last 6 years, at least, that I've been here, we never had, in the early years, we did not have a dedicated legal ops professional, and that was sort of, as we grew, that was something that we added, and it definitely became much more important as the team grew and as the we had people all over the world, maybe doing different, using different systems, and something that I think we actually could have avoided if we did have a dedicated legal ops person early on, would have been to provide some consistency and lay the groundwork and the foundation for, some of the stuff that we're doing now, that we're sort of, cleaning up some things that maybe could have been avoided if we did have that person. So it's possible that the needs might not be as great for maybe managing the department if it's a smaller, maybe more of a startup. And you might have to improvise at that time because you might not have the resources or even the company infrastructure. But I would still say that, kind of like an ounce of prevention is it's an ounce of prevention, so that you can avoid some of the missteps in the future. But I would definitely encourage everyone out there that's looking to scale to consider at least someone devoted to the role early on. If you see that growth for yourself.
For sure. Reeta, how about yourself?
So legal operations, I think Deanna, touched upon this, but it's really sort of taking a look at the tools, the people, and the processes that the legal team is using and trying to figure out how to efficiently really scale things so that the team is focused on primarily just giving advice and we're taking care of the rest. And you want to take a look at what the company is doing now and where the company is going to be in the next 3, 4, even 10 quarters, and really plan accordingly. And so it's both kind of taking a look at everything that's happening day to day, but really being a strategic partner. And for your second part of the question, I think I've always mostly joined small startups and then helped them grow. And so the function is normally reporting directly into a general counsel. I've seen it report into a deputy GC or an AGC, especially if it's someone that's a little bit more on the junior side, but it really depends on what kind of impact are you looking for this person to come in and make.
Right. And Guilherme, how about yourself?
Yeah, I totally agree on what Deanna mentioned. So one thing that I consider very important, in matter of fact, to discuss about legal ops, because most people think that legal ops is specifically like to adding technology to a legal team. And that's not 100% true. That's partially true in my point of view, because the legal ops can help like the teams to set a legal business process, internal process. So it's like how we can make more efficient. It's not necessarily means that you need to hire tech. It does not necessarily that you need to have a tool or you need to have something. Because if you have, for example, an efficiency process in your company and you just translate that into a software, into a tool, will make your tool does not work. Your tool will be just the same thing as your old process, not working. So I know that tech probably can be weird for people, but inefficiency is not. So I think that it's very important, I like to consider, is at least to have one focused people in your legal ops team to get these to get the things done, or at least someone to be watching these very closely. So if I would say, like in a sentence, is like to set legal business process for the company.